In this lesson, we're going to look at the CSS property colour. Now I've got my code editor open here, and I've got two paragraphs, a H1 and a H2 tag element with some content, and in the browser you can see I have my two paragraphs and my H1 and my H2 headers. I have got my style sheet linked, and in the Explorer you can see that it is empty. So these are default CSS settings at the moment. Let's get into the style sheet and style our paragraphs. So on the screen you can see the syntax. So we need to put our selector, which is the P paragraph, with the open curly brackets. So I'm going to put the property, which is colour, with a colon, the value of red with my semicolon. If I save that, you will then see that this has changed all my paragraphs in the browser to the colour of red. So H1 is my selector. To change the H1 in my HTML document, so again I'll use the colour tab, the colon, I'm going to change it to blue, save, and then you can see my H1 header has changed to blue. Notice that the H2 is still in black, because although we've changed the H1, this is not the H2, that is a completely different thing. So that's why the H2 remains in the colour black. So let's just look at the H2 header. So that's our selector, H2. And in the curly braces, we'll have our property, which is the colour, the colon, and let's give it a value of green to change the text to green. Save that, and it saves the text of H2 HTML element to green. Quite simple. But let me just come down here a second. Now say we've got a big document and we've got pages and pages of CSS. So at the top here we put our paragraph thing. Further down again you might be thinking, oh, I want to change, have a different colour text. So if I change the colour to the colour salmon and save that. So when you run the document, the paragraph tags are going to be in this salmon colour, because obviously this would have been red to start with, but this would have loaded that quick. It's got down to the second paragraph selector and its decoration block and has changed the colour to salmon. So when you've got big documents, it's best to document what you're doing so you can make sure that you don't repeat yourself when you've already got a decoration block. Now the final thing, we've been using colours and just been putting the names of the colours we want to use, and there are in CSS over 100 preset colours by name, which we shall cover in another video. But just to show you for now that you can also use some other formats, which I'll go into more in another CSS video. Now you can put the name of the colours, which we've been doing, but you can also use hexadecimal, RGB, HSL. So there are a few different types of colour formats we will do, which we'll cover in another video more in depth. But for now, let me just give you a few examples. So if you're doing the RGB, so if I come into the colour and we type RGB, and then we put some brackets around, and the values, obviously there's three values in RGB colour for red, green and blue. So if we do 0, 255, 0, obviously that is the red, green, blue colour for green or lime. So obviously it will change the colour there. And if we put, say, 50, put 100, we've then got a different shade of green. Change that middle one to 55. So this is another way of representing colours using the red, green, blue. Another way is using HSL. So you simply put this HSL again with the brackets. Now these are a bit different. So if I'm going to put 120, then you've got to have 2 percentages. And again, we'll explain that in the other video. And that is HSS colour. That is the HSL colour for a green colour as well, which is 120, 100%, 50%. So if I just knock that down, and then changing it to 20, 150 gives us this orange colour. So that is another way of representing the colours using the HSL format. But for beginners, I recommend you stick to using colour names for now, until you want to get really precise with your colours in your documents. Please hit that subscribe button, like and share to help support this channel.